In this video, I'm going to show you how to get a clean response code from Zoho CRM functions, or a clean response, not just a response code. So this is used if you're integrating complex apps, or if you have a custom application and you want to integrate into CRM, right? And you don't want to have to parse a bunch of stuff every time. You want to get what would be a standard reply from one of these functions. So let me start out by sharing my screen here. Share screen, share. Okay, so as you can see here, I have this function called a response code, right? Now, if you remember from my last video, this is where we called an endpoint to get a response code. So let me click REST API, and here we have an API key. Now, I'm not going to blur this out just because, but if I pull in my Postman, I make a new one, and I do a get response. I can do a get or a post. It actually doesn't matter for me. If I click send, it sends me back a bunch of garbage. But this is the user message, right? Which is inside, like this is all the info statements I had. If you remember from the last video, I'll link it up here. But this is just all that stuff. So again, if you remember from the last video, this is what a response kind of looks like. It's very clean, right? And then there's the headers. But in this one, there's cookies, there's headers, there's all this stuff it replies with. And I don't like that. You as a developer may not like that. Like if I wanted to get, something inside here, I would have to do, get for this object, get details, get user message, grab the first, then convert this to a map, and then grab the connection or something like that. It's very clunky. So how do we change that? Well, I'm going to click save, and then response code. Let's go ahead and edit it. So let me start out by deleting all this stuff. Great. So now we have this thing, right? We have this one object in here called a response, right? So in a previous video, I had talked about something called CRM API request. Now there's something else called a CRM API response. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go CRM API response, right? And because it's in the squiggly bracket, we're going to do this. And then we actually want to do, I'm going to put something in here called API response, right? Now, I'm doing that, which means we also need a map. Put a map right here, and we'll call it API response equals a map. Great. So now we can put things in that map. Now, what should be in the map? If that's a response, we know there should be a few things. Dot put, we know there should be a body. In an API request, there's a body, right? So I'm going to ignore that for now. What else is in there? In the API response, there's usually headers, right? So we're going to put headers in here as well. Headers. Finally, what else is in there? Well, there's a response code, right? So we can put that one in here. Dot puts. We'll put status underscore code. And because I don't know which one it actually is, we're going to put API.put code in here as well, right? And then in theory, headers is also key value pair, right? And so is body, right? So we're going to want to put API body equals map, and API headers equals. Great. So then the body we could put in here, and the headers, which I'm realizing I had a capital E, API headers, we could put in here. Now the status code, let's give that, because I want to be funny. Let's go 201, and right here we'll go 202 and semicolon. Now in the body API body, let's put we'll say message, and we'll say my final message, goodbye. Right? There's it's a funny meme for you. And then in the API headers, we're just going to put headers.put. And what's something that goes in the headers? Stuff value. So now I can save and execute. And I get something that looks like this. However, if I do an API call now, all right, pause recording there for a second. Turns out, if I undo, I spelled response wrong, right? Code is literal, so it has to be CRM API response, right? So, and I also, let me comment that out. If I save, I get this kind of response, but now if I pull open Postman, I click send, and it gives me this status 201, much like the code, it's a status 201. I can go to my headers, and here's my stuff and my stuff value, right? And then finally in the body, I've got my message, which is my final message, goodbye, right? And this here will allow us to have a clean response when you externally call a function in Zoho CRM. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next video.